Phones have become quite expensive. I remember the time when the iPhone was just around $400. Nowadays, it is starting at 800, and that's for the base version, which is not even the best. Obviously, the market has changed a lot since then. More players at the table, more options, and smartphones at all prices. And I was wondering, can I survive with a cheap phone? As in the cheapest that I can get, from a well-known brand at least. Considering the fact that I'm using an iPhone 13 on a daily basis, one would say that this could be quite hard, right? So I have used a $150 phone for a week, and this is what I have learned. Let's begin. The phone in question is this Samsung Galaxy A14, which is around $150-$160 on Amazon right now, and just around the same price here in Romania. This is definitely not the cheapest from Samsung, but it's the only one that I could find at the time of acquisition. During the time in which I used this phone, I kept my iPhone away, so I can see if this can handle whatever I want to do on a phone. And it was quite funny, to be honest with you. Now, 2 disclaimers. 1. I did not transfer everything that I had on my iPhone. I only installed whatever I used the most. And trust me, it was enough to get an idea and to get to a conclusion. And 2, I am aware of the fact that this is no match for the iPhone, and by no means I'm trying to replicate the same experience. I'm just trying to see if I can live with a phone like this. That's it. And to be completely honest with you, I did not have a lot of expectations at the beginning. Let's see if I was wrong. Now, how do I even start? Let's have a look at the phone and see what we notice. So, volume buttons, lock button, which is also a fingerprint scanner. The other side, a SIM tray and a micro SD slot. This brings back memories. Top side, a single microphone, and down the button, a USB-C and a headphone jack. I cannot believe that I'm calling this nostalgia, but here we are. Front, screen, selfie camera, and back. Does this look familiar to you? I quite like the fact that they took the flagship's design line and tried to integrate it into the lower budget phones. To be honest with you, I like it. I believe it looks nice. You tell me if it looks like a $150 phone here. It feels nice in the hand, and I like the fact that you have a lot of options when it comes to the color. I have this light green, and the back also has strips. And I quite enjoy it actually. Plastic all over the place, but who really cares? To be honest with you, I've had enough of glass already. The second thing that you do after you take the phone out of the package is obviously turn it on and start messing with it. And after you turn it on, the first thing that you see is obviously the screen, which in this case is not the best. Now, at $150, you need to cut a lot of costs. You basically need to do penny pinching at this point. In a phone, the screen panel is usually one of the most expensive parts. A decent 6.6 inches IPS LCD panel, which has nice colors and all, is probably around $30 to $45. So yeah, you can't do that, not at this price. And to be honest with you, I can't judge Samsung for choosing a cheaper screen for this. They need to keep that price low. It's simply understandable. So this is a 6.6 inches PLS LCD screen, which also comes with a pretty good resolution. Full HD+, which gives you 400 pixels per inch. Now, for reference, Galaxy A55, which is 3 times more expensive than this, has a density of 390 pixels per inch. And that's also good, so in this case, the pixel density is more than enough. Also, I have to say, for a PLS LCD, the colors and the viewing angles are actually decent. So, to recap, we got a big screen with quite some big bezels around it. You can't have them all. With decent colors and viewing angles, plus a good pixel density. Personally, I'm happy with it. Let's talk about the user experience now, or at least my experience. And this is where you actually start to see that this is a cheap phone at the end of the day. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not actually that bad. When you go through the interface, like swiping through the menus, notification bar, control center, stuff like this, it is actually quite fluid. I haven't really had any moments when it became bothering, let's say. But it has moments, and those are actually more like random moments when it just lags. As simple as that. out of nowhere, both in the interface or any app that you would be using. The lags are not that bad. You just notice them and they appear randomly, whatever you would be doing. It just makes you realize that this phone has some limits. Now, let's have a look at some things that I have used this phone for. Starting with social media apps. Scrolling is fine, you can see pretty much everything that you see on any other phone. And I have to say that when I was sending messages through Instagram or WhatsApp, for example, the keyboard is actually nice and so much better than the one that I have on my iPhone. I'm using Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, however you want to call it. And I have to say that I feel that Facebook is a bit slower, but at the same time, it is an app which is loaded with so much more stuff than the other two. When it comes to gaming, I think I don't really have a lot to say here. I'm only playing Rush Royale, to be honest with you, and it's playable on this. It struggles a bit when there are more elements moving at the same time on the screen, but overall, it is fine, nothing too bad. I would say it can play most of the simple games out there, but do not expect to see GTA San Andreas or Asphalt running on this device, but it should be able to handle something like Candy Crush or Monster Busters if you're into stuff like this. Let's jump to cameras, and this is the point where I actually don't like this, not because it wouldn't be decent, it's just not enough for me. You can shoot decent photos using the main camera, which is a 50 megapixels one. They're not so bad, not too good, they're just average. And for most of the people, it should be fine. Not the best color science, not the best dynamic range, the details often are simply not there, but as long as you give it good lighting, it will do the job. Now, it has two more cameras, a 5 megapixels ultra wide and a 2 megapixels macro. And they are bad. I do understand the fact that it has to resemble the trend with multiple cameras and the flagship's design, but I'd rather have that effort put into the main sensor. Just make that one shoot better photos and I'm guaranteeing you that people will be more than happy. I don't even know who even uses this macro lens. It's simply bad. And it's not just this phone. A lot of 2020, 2021 flagships had the same macro. Maybe a bit better, but still, it was there just to be there. And I simply believe that people just don't care about it. They just want a good camera. That's it. But the selfie camera is also decent. In good lighting conditions, you will be happy with the results. Oh, and this thing also does portraits, and they're actually quite good for the quality of the cameras in general. Now, filming. There's not a lot to talk about here. Full HD 30 frames per second. That's the best that it can do. I do understand it, it's simply so much harder to capture video instead of photos. I would say that for a quick video of the landscape in the place where you've just visited, or something that your nephew has done and you found it funny, it should be fine. Now, question, do you know what cheap phones are usually good at? Battery. And this phone is no exception. It has a 5000 mAh battery. For reference, the Galaxy S24 Ultra battery is the same size. Indeed, this doesn't benefit from all the optimization that the flagships do, because it simply doesn't need it. I mean, neither the chip or the screen will use that much. And I swear to God, I simply forgot how it is to forget to charge your phone. This guy right here, it will last 2 days. Even more if you only do the basic stuff. By the end of the day, I was still having 50 to 60% battery, and oh my god, it felt amazing. Now, if there is anything that I really don't like, it's the fact that Samsung decided to keep the same overloaded user interface on this phone as well. It's very similar and very close to what you see on the flagships, and again, I get it, you need to keep the experience as close as you can to the higher end phones. But I believe that something a bit lighter would make this phone a bit more faster, and it would get rid of those lags, which again, were not so bad, but they were there. Now, I have missed my iPhone a few times, I have to admit it. But at the same time, it wasn't too bad. Considering that in general, the cameras and the screen are a deal breaker for me when it comes to phones, and also the fact that I want something powerful enough to allow me to do editing in Lightroom, CapCut, you name it, this actually did a decent job. Yeah, maybe it doesn't tick all the boxes, but all in all, I believe that I can deal with the downsides of this guy, at least for some time. At the end of the day, it's just a phone, and for the other stuff, I have the cameras and the Mac Mini. So yeah, I can deal with it. All in all, I would say that this phone is actually quite good for certain people, like your grandparents who maybe need a big screen so they can have a big font so they can actually read whatever is going on the phone. Or maybe your child wants one, so you buy this for him, he can do pretty much whatever he wants with it, and in case he breaks it, it won't be that big of a deal. However, bear in mind that Samsung is not the only company which makes this kind of phones. You got Motorola, Nokia, Oppo, Xiaomi, or even Huawei. So yeah, you have a lot of options even at this price point. As a general rule, and what I recommend you, is that when you're looking for a phone like this, try and find one with at least 4 GB of RAM. If you find one with 6, that would be even better. But 4 is the bare minimum. And as another general rule, I recommend you to make your research before, have a look on the internet, research on the chips, on the screen, on the cameras, pretty much anything that you can find, and then take a decision. If you ask me, I like this phone quite a lot, but at the same time, the Motorola phones which have been launched in the past 2 years are looking quite good. Now, you let me know. What do you think about this phone and low-budget phones in general? Have you got one for you or for someone else? If yes, what is your feedback about it? Waiting for your answers down below in the comment section. In the end, a phone has to execute whatever you need, no matter the price. Whatever you need, not whatever you want. Today's technology got to a point where phones like this are at the same level with the early days flagships, and probably will get to a point where they will be comparable with today's flagships. I don't know how long it will take us to get there, but only time will tell. Until then, a subscribe and a like would be much appreciated, as well as feedback for us and the channel. I'll see you next week. Take care.